Dr. Merryl Goldberg is a School of Arts professor at CSUSM, as well as an accomplished musician and author. Dr. Goldberg is also the executive director of Center Artes, with her main project being the Art Equals Opportunity initiative. Today, I got the chance to speak with Dr. Goldberg about topics such as her love for music, her time as a touring musician, as well as the importance that the arts have on education on today's Cougar Showcase.
My grandfather was a musician. My father was a visual artist. My grandfather would play violin and viola in the apartment, and my aunt who played piano would play, and I just loved music from a super early age. And then when I went to school in the 4th grade, you could choose an instrument and start learning an instrument. So I had seen a picture of a saxophone, and I really wanted to play saxophone. So I told my parents, I want to play saxophone. And they said, I'm sorry, it's a boy's instrument. We're not going to let you play. So I took guitar lessons, but on the sly, because I so wanted to play the saxophone, I snuck saxophone lessons. By the time I was in 8th grade and going into the high school, I told my parents, you've got to let me play saxophone. You've got to let me play saxophone. I want to be in the marching band, and you can't play a guitar in a marching band. And, I think I just bugged them enough, and they finally said, okay, you can play the saxophone. And I said, I actually already played the saxophone. I just need one. Because where I was taking guitar lessons, they also gave saxophone lessons. So when I went for my guitar lessons, they let me try out the saxophone and play it. And I learned how to play it basically on my own. So that's how I started playing. And then I absolutely just loved music. I ended up going to New England Conservatory of Music, which is a very prestigious school. I never thought I would get in, but I did. And I loved it there too. My classes were all music classes. I played in ensembles. And then eventually in my, junior or senior year at the conservatory, several of us organized a concert of Jewish music. I was very interested in Jewish music at the time, mostly Yemenite music, Middle Eastern music. And we also played this klezmer, which is Eastern European. And what ended up happening is after one concert, people started calling up and asking us, this group of us, to perform at concerts and at weddings, and it literally blew up. And I went on to a 13-year career on the road with a band called the Klezmer Conservatory Band. When I went to get my degree at New England Conservatory of Music, I had to major in performance, but I was a music education major as well, meaning I thought I would going into teaching. And in fact, I did. I taught music. But I landed up in this professional band, and what was really cool was we went from place to place. We played festivals, we played bar mitzvahs, we played weddings, we played parties, we played concerts, we played jazz halls, and all sorts of venues. It was just such a blast. I was one, in the beginning we had 13 people in the band. I played baritone saxophone, which is a very big saxophone. It was something that was just absolutely felt like a lifetime of super coolness. While I was performing, I realized at a certain point, I woke up one morning, and we were on tour to Europe a couple of times a year. I got to go to Australia and New Zealand and Canada and all over the United States. I saw places I had never ever seen before. But one morning, after many years of performing, I woke up and I was like, oh, dough, I have to go to Europe again. And then I went, oh, dough, what are you talking about? You have to go to Europe? Come on. What I realized was I was having enough of performing for people. One thing that I really love to do, and why I'm in education, is because I love working with people. On that day, basically, even though I kept performing for another 7 or so years, I realized that I really loved working with people, and I made a decision to go back to graduate school and to get a degree so that I could teach teachers the value of arts in the classroom and why it was important and how to integrate the arts and music throughout the curriculum. And I absolutely love what I do. I get to be around people being creative all the time. I can't tell you how wonderful that feels. I recognized the importance of art from early childhood because I was surrounded by art. You know, my dad being an artist, my grandfather playing in the Boston Pops and Symphony. So I felt in my bones that humanness of who we are as a people and what we sound like as a people and what we express ourselves and communicate as a people through the arts. I would say it wasn't until I was a professional performer, though, that I realized the power of arts and how the arts really are who we are as cultures as well. The music I was playing, this Eastern European Yiddish music, was not only really cool music to listen to and to dance to, but held the stories of people, important stories, who people were, where they were from, what their different rituals and religious experiences were, what their culture was like. So I recognized that arts weren't fluff. They weren't something that enhanced life, although the arts do enhance life, but the arts are something that embody life. And that's what really this started becoming super interesting to me. And then in graduate school, I started really digging into how the arts are knowledge. So the arts are a whole set of knowledge that we all hold as peoples throughout the whole entire world. You know, knowledge isn't just stuff that's written down in books. Knowledge is who we are through the arts as well. And so, you know, a lot of people think, oh, well, you know, yeah, you say the arts are important, but, you know, really? I'm telling you, there's tons and tons of research that show kids who have arts do a whole lot better in academics, in life, getting into college, and in career paths, and in the socio-emotional learning realm, in being good citizens. At Art Equals Opportunity, our goal was to help people connect in a really hands-on, super easy way to all that research. So we provide some professional development for teachers and for students on campus. So we have a couple of major programs. One is workshops for teachers. So a recent workshop that we did was in teaching our students and also in-service classroom teachers in schools how to do podcasting with their kids and make radio stations. So that's a real cool STEAM emphasis. So STEM education is important, but it's real easy to make it STEAM, A for arts. So we do a lot of workshops and boot camps. I teach a class called Learning Through the Arts, so I get to do that all the time. And we do some really interesting activities. So let's say we're learning about science. What we might do is have each student pick a leaf from outside, or pick up a shell, and we ask them to draw it from the inside out. So actually, you know, trying to draw that shell or that leaf by capturing every single little tiny detail. And then we ask them two questions. What do they notice and what do they wonder? So as you're drawing, you know, seashells, if you can just picture it in your mind right now, a seashell sometimes has ridges or it has different colors. It might have a hole in it. And then all these questions do come to mind, like, well, how did it get on the shore? How did it get a hole in it? How the heck can it have different colors? Did it start out as this size or was it little? Did something live in it? An activity like that, you know, a simple drawing activity, which is part of the curriculum in other countries like Scotland and England and Australia, New Zealand have part of their science is drawing, because it can really help you observe details and create that curiosity in you to wonder. There's just so many opportunities to do really cool activities, and people really, really, truly learn when they're engaged in doing activities like this. I would say always have an open mind to the arts and being creative. You know, people find solace and inspiration and ways to communicate and express understandings of themselves and the world through various art forms. It's really something that I think people have been taught is not accessible, but really is. You know, I would challenge anybody to go and write an I believe poem. Write 5 things you believe and then mix it up and make it into a poem. Go take headlines and cut out headlines and make it into a poem. Go listen to some music you've never listened to. This is really about who we are and being creative, and I think there's nothing better in the world than that. And that's an amazing way to connect with others. And if there's anything we need in this world today, I think it's being able to connect with others, especially people with whom we might not see eye to eye. And the arts can be that bridge. I'll just say that.
Dr. Goldberg is someone who not only cares about music and the arts, but cares about sharing its benefits with others. But before we go, Dr. Goldberg had the opportunity to perform a piece using her saxophone.
So this one's called Silver Wedding. So I'm playing another wedding tune, Eastern European Yiddish. And this one is in celebration of a 50th anniversary. And it's fast. 1, 2.